Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Foch 155, a Tier 10 French tank destroyer, a vehicle that is incredibly deadly, especially after Wargaming has buffed it so many times. But not only is the Foch a pretty good tank, but honestly, the entire line leading up to the Foch is pretty dang solid now, starting off at the Tier 7, being the AMX AC 46. For a very long time, this tank was absolutely awful. It was the worst performing Tier 7 in the game, but it seems like Wargaming's buffed it to be pretty dang decent. The gun's always been solid. It's got 2,800 damage per minute, 0.317 dispersion, and an aiming time of 2.7 seconds. Right there, that is an amazing gun, especially when you realize it's got good pen at 202 on the standard, 255 on the premium, and even good alpha at 310. The tank has 10 degrees of gun depression, it's mobile, goes 50 kilometers per hour. Everything about this tank is pretty good. Even though it's a very bad performer still statistically, I can tell you for a fact that I've played this tank to test it out. It's not a bad vehicle at all. Even its traverse speed is upwards of 50 degrees a second. So the tank's got a lot of great things going for it. The frontal armor is about 130, which means at the angle it's steeped at, well, it's about maybe 160 to 170, which means Tier 6s will bounce you. And if you're using that gun depression, it can be even a little bit stronger, but you do got to realize you got some of the largest hatches in the game on the top. So the armor's not great, but it will get the occasional bounce. And when you add that into the fact that it's mobile, it's got a great gun. I mean, I actually think the Tier 6s, or the Tier 7, is pretty dang solid. The AMX AC 48 got a pretty big buff recently, where its DPM, which was its huge, should I say, holding back of what made the tank good, is now actually pretty good. It's got 2,600 damage per minute. Not only that, but it's got 0.293 dispersion, an aiming time of 3.6 seconds, and pretty good pen at 260 on the standard and 320 on the premium. I mean, the gun's great. You're never ever going to have to worry with this gun about penetration against especially Tier 9s. I mean, even a vehicle like the E75 or the Motion, which are some of the more heavily armored vehicles, you're going to butter straight through and loading. Even, honestly, standard shells are going to quite easily cut through them. It's got not a lot of gun depression at 6 degrees, but that is going to be a constant for the rest of the tanks in the line as well. What's great is its top speed at 50 kilometers per hour, its traverse speed at 51 degrees a second, and add that in with a amazing power to weight of 18.5. Plus, this vehicle actually has really solid armor. Apart from the hatches on the roof, the upper plate on this tank is upwards of 280 millimeters thick, which means you have to load premium to have a chance of penetrating this vehicle. It's really good at getting bounces. So I actually really like the AMX AC. I think that this is, honestly, after the buff, one of the best Tier 8s in the game. But let's make our way now to another absolutely amazing tank, the Foch. Not the Foch 155, but just the normal Foch. This vehicle actually has some of the most damage per minute in the game, sitting just shy of 4,000, which is insane. Not to mention it's got really good dispersion at 0.317 and a decent aiming time at 3.8 seconds. The thing that kind of sucks about this tank is that it carries the same penetration as the Tier 8, 260 on the standard, 320 on the premium. It's not bad pen, it's still enough to cut through most opponents you're aiming at, but it's a little bit poor for a tank destroyer, you know? 320 is more similar to like a Tier 9 heavy tank. So that is one of the downsides of the Foch, is that it doesn't have a lot of pen, but it has incredible mobility, once again at 50 kilometers per hour. Traverse speed gets worse. Instead of 52 degrees a second, it goes down to 37, but it's still mobile enough, and its power to weight actually gets better from 18.5 to 22.2. This thing is fast, it's got an insane gun, and even though it loses a couple things that the Tier 8 has, it still has some monstrous things going for it. I would easily say the Foch is one of the best Tier 9s in the game out there. And then we reach the Tier 10, the Foch 155. This vehicle is very similar to the Tier 9 in armor profile. Its side armor is a bit better, but frontally I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same, 160 on the front of the Tier 10, and if we take a look at the Tier 9, oh, it's 180, sorry, not 160, 180 for both on their hull armor. So they're exactly the same on the front. The sides is a bit better on the Foch 155, but overall, armor-wise, these two tanks are very similar. It is the gun that is a big difference. The gun on the Tier 10 has 3,400 DPM, which while not is 4,000, is still a lot, especially when you realize you gain a huge chunk of alpha, sitting at 560, and this vehicle has a 7-second intra-clip reload as it's a double-shot tank destroyer. So this tank is really, really strong. It's gone from being one of the worst tier 10 tank destroyers in effectiveness to, I would argue, one of the best. A lot of people really underrate the capabilities of this vehicle. It is not a tank to be messed with. The gun on this thing is so incredibly deadly. But here we are. First battle. What do we have up against us? 215B, 4005, IS-7, M6Yo. Obviously, I'm going to drive this tank towards medium side. So the main threats I have is the T100 LT, 62A, and more specifically, that TVP 5051. One thing about the Foch, the whole line, is that their track wheels are very weak, and even if you barely over-angle the tank, you have an incredibly easy chance of penetrating the tank through the track wheels and locking it down. That is why you'll always see me running double repair kit on a vehicle like this and a med kit, so if I ever get a damaged crew member, I don't need to waste a repair kit on it, because you need the repair kits on this tank. So I gotta be careful this game. But because we have so much mobility, and you can see me using that fantastic power to weight here, I'm easily keeping up toe-to-toe with these mediums. So I should not have to worry at all about being beaten into position too much, unless my 1-2-1 just constantly drives into me, because, you know, gotta make sure I'm in the way of my teammate. Alright, I'm just gonna drive up here, and we're gonna see if I can just have a little bit of fun with the TVP. How you doing? I'm in the Foch, and you are scared of me. There's one shell, and a nice little 700 RAM. I'll take it, and now we just wiggle. Now, we do have a 62A on my side, but we're still gonna... Well, we're not going to be able to slap him again, but that's fine, because now we get a nice shot into the 62A. And this was all my team really needed. I don't know why the 1-2-1's still playing so scared, but if they would just push, we win. Like, seriously, if our team just pushes this, we win. I guess that's challenging this. I guess I'll have to do that. We can aim in an HE on the lower plate of the TVP, and there you go. Get a nice bounce from the 4005. Don't want to be shot by that. 1-2-1, can you please just thank you. There you go. All right, let's reload our clip. We got 10 seconds left, but we've already completely won medium side. This is what the Foch can do. It can just send it, and people do not know how to counter it. 2, 1, and he gets detected again because he shot at me. I don't think I was spotted. I just think he shot because he could. We got the go all the way in the back. Fire! There you go. Look at that. Beautiful shell across the map into the yo. With that, we've done okay. We've done 2,400 damage so far, and even if we don't get any more damage out this game, we've already carried our team. I mean, that YOLO is all you need to do in a tank like this to win. So we're going to drive over this hill over here, once again using that great mobility, and I'm going to try and get some extra damage on possibly this 4005, as I think that he's really the only guy left with some hit points. So let's go over here and send this 4005. There you go. He's AFK. Gotta love that. I will take any free damage I can get. And even though we're probably going to die to him, we just need to get one more pen, maybe even a little bit of a ram here. Yes, give me a ram! Ha-ha! Oh, we didn't even die. Oh, that's great. I thought we were going to die, but I can't complain. We got a little bit of extra damage. Now we're just going to aim in on the 2 and 5B. Slap. Foch accuracy moment. I will definitely say the Foch's gun, accuracy-wise, is a little poor. Oh, I did not know there was a rock there. Big unfortunate. But we still did a good job. I would say that what we did in this game definitely gave us a much larger chance of winning, not having to deal with the TVP, not having to deal with the T62A. I mean, we did 3,800 damage. If we had penned that shell on the 2 and 5B, we would have done closer to like 4,000. But because we tracked him, we did get a little bit of assistance damage at 328 from that 4202. So I'll take it. The Foch, as you saw in that first game, just gets away with so many things. Because it has more DPM than the majority of mediums, and because it's got so much alpha, mediums don't want to fight it, especially when you're getting chunked for 560 every time you poke it. I mean, the average reload on like a 62A is 5 seconds, which means that tank has to get shot by me once, and then 7 seconds later, it'll get one shell into me in 5 seconds, and then I'll hit it back again for another shell. And a lot of people don't realize that this tank just can do that. So by the time they've already lost that second bit of hit points, they're down the majority of their health, and they're a one-shot. And that's where the Foch really just hits really differently. So Sheridan gets a nice shot into the 4202, and we're going to chill right here. If that 4202 wants to poke, that is fine with me. We also got the E5 over here. I'm just kind of chilling in this spot, though. Let's see if we can get a shell into the E5, or we're going to get stuck on the top of a building and bleed a lot of health. That was on me. I'll definitely take the blame for that. Let's see. Is the 4202 going to poke me? No. Let's aim it on the E5. Load in a heat. There you go. Now, one thing that's great about this vehicle is the fact that heat does barely lose any premium pen. So, or not pen, alpha. It only goes down 15 damage when loading the heat, which which is actually really, really nice. Now, what I'm hoping is that this 50B is going to get to the side of the C100. 50B, come on, you can do it. There you go. Now that he's at the side of the C100, we can start pushing up here and get one shell into the FV4202. And this is a perfect example of where people think they out-reload the Foch, but in reality, they don't. Oh, man. We are just chunking the enemy. All right, well, I'm going to let that yo hopefully finish this guy off. Come on. There you go. Nice. We got 3 more seconds left, and then we're just going to try and get some nice bonkers into this E100 here. Use that nice traverse, and bonk. There you go. 490 damage slap there. 3 more seconds left. 2, a 1, and another bonk. There you go. With that, we have dealt a very sizable amount of damage at 2,500 already. This 4005 is definitely a big threat, but I could care less. Even if he killed me, I just want to get a little bit more damage out, which we were able to do right there. Let's reload our clip and start heading towards the Super Conqueror. Now, the great thing about this vehicle is that the clip reload is so dang fast. I mean, it's definitely one of the fastest clip reloads in Tier 10, which allows you to just, you know, push really aggressively. Let's get one nice shell into the Super Conqueror, then let's back up this way. He tracks me. Okay, very interesting. Let's load in an HE. Looks like we can pen actually the back of his turret with a high explosive shell, which we are able to do right there. And I'm going to let this STB finish him off, so I'm just going to drive this way, and there you go. STB gets the clearing shot. Now I'm going to drive over here. The chances of the Yag killing me are quite slim, especially if he bounces me. So let's get a nice heat shell into the Yag. That is where the fantastic pen comes into play. And there you have it, 5,000 damage. So you can see where the Foch is so great. I mean, it's just a great tank. The fact that you can get away with doing what I did in this game and just abusing the enemy when they don't realize what it's capable of is insane. The fact that you have a 7-second intraclip and then only a 13.5-second reload allows you to constantly be able to shoot. For example, if we head over to a vehicle, another Tier 10 tank destroyer, like the Object 268. The Object 268 has, in total, a 14.5-second reload. That means I could shoot an Object 268 once, then reload half the time it takes for him to reload a shot, shoot him again, and then he can shoot me, and I can reload my full clip before he hits another shell back, shoot him again, and then kill him. I mean, think about that. That is actually insane. And that is why the Foch is so strong. Only a oh no, it's a 12-second clip reload. It used to be 13.5, and that's right, Wargaming buffed it. So, it's insane. The Foch is really just an insane vehicle. I love it, and I think that it's finally in a super good spot. I would definitely suggest to grind down the line, but that's obviously if you like this type of playstyle. You always can't get away with YOLOing, just keep that in mind. This tank does have weaknesses, as I said. Very weak track wheels, super terrible side armor, not the best traverse. So if you do get caught out in the open, this tank falls apart incredibly fast. While it may look like I'm just doing flat-out YOLOs in this gameplay, there is definitely some common sense I'm putting into what I'm doing, so make sure you keep that in mind. But hopefully you've enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.